Clyde Vernon Buckingham was born in Missouri in 1896. The following is an accounting of his untimely death in 1916. Clyde Buckingham, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Will Buckingham of Webb City, Missouri, suffered injuries from which he died a few hours later when he fell several feet down a shaft on West 7th Street in Joplin, a little after 4 o'clock last night. Young Buckingham was coming from the mine, in which he and several other men were prospecting by means of a ladder, up the side of the shaft. Buckingham was the last one to leave the mine, as he had remained to gather up the tools. His brother-in-law Bert Kirby had just come from the mine ahead of him, warning him about some of the rungs of the ladder being gone, and not to fall. Kirby had reached the top and looked back to ask, "Are you coming all right?" and received a reply in the affirmative. Kirby glanced across the prairie, and a second later heard something fall. Turning his gaze into the shaft, the lights which had been burning on Buckingham's hat were missing, and the brother-in-law knew he had fallen. Hastily calling to the other miners just ready to leave for assistance, Kirby entered the mine to find the young man lying unconscious, with a great gash cut across his head. He gathered the injured boy in his arms, and slowly, step by step of the treacherous ladder, from which part of the rungs had fallen away, young Kirby reached the mouth of the shaft, exhausted from his efforts, to be relieved by willing hands of his burden, and also assisted from the shaft. A Joplin ambulance was called, and the injured boy of 20 years was rushed to the St. John's Hospital, and surgeons summoned at once. A crushed skull had resulted from the fall, and physicians stated that an operation was necessary to raise the skull from its pressure on the brain. However, the boy never regained consciousness, and died at 8:20 as surgeons were preparing for the operation. The body was removed to the morgue of a Joplin undertaker, where an inquest was held at 3 o'clock this afternoon by Coroner Snyder. Clyde Vernon Buckingham was born and reared in this city. He would have been 21 years old on the 8th day of November had he lived. A little over 2 years ago, Mr. Buckingham was wed to Miss Osa Kirby of Joplin. He is survived by his wife and a baby daughter, about 1 year old. Clyde's wife, Osa, was also pregnant with their second daughter when he died. Osa was remarried a couple of years later to Dolph Douglas, and they had 3 more daughters together. Clyde's daughters, Helen and Verna, both lived long lives. Helen died at age 83, Verna at age 94. His beautiful bride, Osa, died in 1990 at age 91.